Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of bada bing, the master of the diamond cutter, the three-time world champion, WWE Hall of Famer, and founder and CEO of DDP Yoga. And you monkeys, you're listening to the Podmen. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Bang!
Welcome back to the Podmen, the wrestling podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Audio versions of the show are available through Podbean, Apple iTunes, God, where else? Wherever you pick up your audio podcasts at this stage, you know the drill at this stage. If you'd like to contact the show, the Podmen on Facebook, and obviously at TPodman on Twitter. Joining me for an interesting episode tonight, a man you'll recognize from the Collector's Corner in the last week or so, David Byrne. David, how you doing, my man?
I'm very tired, having just gotten back from Cancun, but I'm doing all right.
Good. Well, tonight we're going to discuss, this is like a road trip or a road diary. As most of you would be aware, in the last episode of Collector's Corner that David was on, he dropped a little hint that he was off to Cancun to no less a DDP yoga seminar for a week in Cancun with none other than himself, Diamond Dallas Page. So we're going to have a chat with David tonight about the whole trip from start to finish, what went down, any interesting stories. Spent most of the week with DDP, as far as I can tell, because my WhatsApp was lit up with pictures of the man non-stop. So some great pictures. Well, looked absolutely like paradise, to be honest. So let's get into it. Tell me, so starts at Dublin Airport roughly about a week ago.
Yeah, I was there at about 3 a.m. The line for that queue going to Frankfurt was crazy because seems as though a lot of people were using it as a connecting flight to different parts of the country. The flight was delayed, which caused a bit of drama towards the end because they started staggering the people getting off. So there'd be like the first 10 rows and the next 10. And I was at the very end. And at one point I look at my watch and I go, all right, my flight's in 40 minutes and I've never had a connecting flight before. So I just turned to say, can I just get my stuff and leave as well? And they were kind of like, oh, okay, fine. But then they just let everyone do it. So then the plane then becomes more jam-packed. But I got through. My gate wasn't that far. I didn't need to produce the negative test that I got, so that was kind of a waste of money, but because Mexico, you don't need a negative test. Then after that, it was 2 hours to Frankfurt from Dublin. Then I had 10.5 hours from Frankfurt to Cancun, which I think I slept maybe an hour on that flight, but that was in 10-minute intervals. So landed, and then we took a look at the immigration queue because I was sitting next to someone, and we got chatting when we were on there. We took a look at the immigration queue and we were like, well, we're probably going to be here another 2 hours. And as we're approaching the line, they open up another queue that they say, okay, guys, you can join this one. So that was a stroke of luck. So we got through there, no problem. And it was funny. You ever watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
You know that the Mexican maid in it?
Yes.
Consuela. So she turned to the line that I was in and be like, okay, guys, you start queuing here. And there were some people that were in the big queue who started trying to sneak over, and she was there like, no. And there's just at the remnants of Consuela. So it made me laugh. So anyway, got through security, no problem. Went to the travel agents who had a transport organized for me. They brought me to the hotel. Checked in, I got the room. The room was crazy in such a lovely area, and the hotel itself has like a shuttle bus service where they can bring you everywhere you want, which is quite efficient. But they bring you and your bags separately to your room. So I realized, so they had an introductory workout, and I realized that I was late for it because they hadn't done it. But eventually, when the bags arrived, I headed over to where it was, and maybe there was about 10 minutes left, but I just wanted to see everything. And I kind of stood at the back of the room where everyone's working out, and he's at the tail end of his workout. And he then says to everyone, okay, everyone lift up your left hand. And then he goes, including the guy at the back who couldn't make it. And that was the first kind of interaction I had with him. I put my head down and he's like, I'm just kidding, bros. Like, at least you showed up. And he says, give yourself a self high five. And then they do the diamond cutter bang that they do. And anyone who does DDPY knows what I'm talking about. And then I just started meeting everybody who was there. They were all like, "Oh, are you David from Ireland? Are you David from Ireland?" Because I think they got it from a group that I was in.
Okay.
And then the travel agent, Joy, who's a lovely lady and very, very helpful, who helped get the trip set up and everything, she came up to me and said, yeah, I went up to Dallas and went, that guy you gave shit to, he just came all the way from Ireland. So about 5 minutes later, when I'm talking to people, I hear, "Hey, Ireland boy, what's up?" And we slap hands, and I don't know what to say, so I just went like, "Oh, it's you, it's you," and he goes, "It's me, it's me." Um,
Brilliant.
so yeah, we just have a quick chat there, talk about different things, talking about I'm looking forward to the week. Talk about you know, um, I was talking about how starstruck I was, and he was like, "Yeah, that'll wear off by the end of the week," and he was dead right about that.
Absolutely.
So then I went back to the room because we had a cocktail party planned for maybe about half an hour from there. So everyone went back, got changed, and then after the cocktail party was a dinner party. And he dresses up very well, I must say. So that was just meant for meeting new people and getting to know everyone on the trip. So, but he would go around to each table and talk, just talk to people and hang out for a while. So yeah, that was pretty much the first night. That was the Saturday, and then the Sunday, we had our pool party after the workout. So you have your workout at about 10:30 in the morning, and it's for an hour and a half. So yeah, we did that, and it's all different things. There's no two workouts were the same. And I can't remember if it was this day or the next day, but just one day after the workout, I hung back, which he had no problem doing. Like, he was never, he was very approachable, never had a problem in, talking to people afterwards. And I think he made that clear on the last day. He was like, "Oh, by the way, guys, if any of you guys want a picture, just come up to me at the end." He's like, "It's no problem." He said, "I'm like a Mickey Mouse, but with tattoos." Um, so I got him a cheesy present. I got him an rugby jersey. Didn't feel as cheesy though when he told me that he's gotten lots of them from people over the years. So, and then at that point, my mother rang me, just because I hadn't spoken to her since I arrived. She asked me how I was. I'm like, "Oh, fine." And then I said, "Hang on a second." I go, "Dallas?" Yeah. I said, "Would you mind saying hello to my mother?" And he laughs and he says, "What's her name?" I go, "Andrea." And he's like, "Hey, Andrea, what's up?" And he was like, "Yeah, he's having a really good time here." What? "Oh, well, don't worry, he's in safe hands." Okay, take care. So he has the phone back to me.
At which
Which,
point your mum goes mad at you, I'd say.
yeah. You know that yourself now. I do that to everybody. That was my
Yeah,
mother.
absolutely.
But no, she said after, she's like, "Oh my God, he's such an amazing voice." Um, Then I told him a little bit about my brother, that he did a cameo for my brother a few weeks ago. My brother's had lots of health problems, so I wasn't able to go into detail on it on cameo because you get a very limited amount. So I told him a bit more detail about that, but he's always there to lend a real friendly ear.
Mm.
So that was he listened very in depth about it and was asking how he was and everything. So that was good. So yeah, later on we had the pool party. I drank way too much that I ended up skipping dinner and went to bed about 6 o'clock. But I think that was also the jet lag catching up with me. And actually, at the pool party, at one point, he sits down next to me because there's a little bar at the pool and there's bar stools in the pool. And he sits next to me and he said, "So, how old are you?" I says, 24. He goes, "Right. So you weren't alive when I was like big, when I was wrestling. So what exactly got you into this?" And I'm thinking, okay, so do I tell him you know, "Oh, I was always a fan of you from when I was a kid from seeing the old stuff," or do I say Joe Rogan? So I went with Joe Rogan, and I told him the backstory to that, which was first heard him when I was in Canada. I was having a really bad time in Canada, kind of had one of those feelings that life has passed you by like that, and then when I heard him on Joe Rogan at one point, he said he didn't start wrestling till he was 35, and I'm like, "Oh, he didn't start till he was 35, and all he's achieved. So maybe things aren't as bleak as I'm making them out to be." And then he was quite taken aback that that was my introduction to it, but taken aback in a good way. Then on the Monday, another workout. There was a cooking class that most people did afterwards, but I went and swam with dolphins, which was a great trip. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the trip.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, they did lots of. See, there was like a package you can upgrade for like an extra $10, and you go to swim with an extra dolphin, and they do things like they you lie flat in the water and they swim up behind you and push you up to the front,
Oh,
like,
cool.
and you're not expecting that. Or another time you grab onto their fins and they would drag you up. So that was good. Yeah, so then came back, went to dinner. Like, that was a fairly standard day, is that you'll do your workout, you'll maybe hang out at the pool, some cocktails, then they get dinner, and then go to one of the clubs afterwards in the place. And I think my favorite part of the whole experience was, it's just so nice being indoors and not having to wear masks and stuff like that, and being around some people and not have to wear masks, which I really enjoyed. So what day we're at? Tuesday now, which I think was another pool party. Again, for Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe it was, his voice was at him, so we ended up having a workout with his partner Paige, and she really takes it to the max. Like, she's she was a yoga teacher by profession for many years, so she was introducing a lot more difficult moves, and like, a lot of people we even went up to afterwards saying, "Oh, I wish you could have made that harder." It was really kicking everyone's ass. But yeah, she's a great lady as well. Really enjoyed talking to her. It's very nice, has time for everyone. And we'd always take group photos at the end, which was good. So then later on that day as well, there was a couple who was on the trip who got married. So most of us went to the wedding ceremony at the end, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It was on the beach, and it was one of those things that was just because I spoke to them before, and it was just one of those things where they were like, oh, well, we're there, we might as well get married. Why not?
Oh, so this wasn't pre-planned at all. This was a decision on the seminar, or when you were there, like.
Yeah, well, they had known it because we had a call beforehand, about a week before we were due to fly out, and they said, "Oh, we have someone here getting married." So it was decided around then, but it was very much, well, sure, why not? In the run up to it. Yeah. So then, when his voice returned, he came back, and at the end, it was a lot of it was just kind of motivational things. He talked about how kind of he was pissed off that he didn't stay the course with wrestling, because he started very late, and very few people who start as late as he did actually make it. So he says he often does have those feelings of, if I had hung in and stayed longer, what would I have accomplished? So and actually, it was funny. At one time, I think it was when I got him to sign my book, the Positively Unstoppable book. It says, "Yo, David, stay positively unstoppable."
Awesome.
He liked to write a lot, and then I got Paige, his girlfriend, to sign it as well.
Awesome. That's cool.
He signed that. Oh, I have a funny story as to how I got him to sign these things, and then the Legends figure.
Yeah, very, very cool. Well, what was his reaction to the figure?
He didn't really say much. He was just like, "Oh, is this yours?" And I said, "Yeah." But more of the people around me were very interested in it. I bought, in the run up to this, a shit ton of markers, like gold and silver metallic ones.
Yeah.
In anticipation of getting this stuff signed, because I would have preferred the figure to be signed in kind of a silvery one, And when I got to my room, I couldn't find them anywhere. So I'm thinking, I must have left them at home somewhere or something. I'm driving me mad trying to find them. I checked everywhere, couldn't find them. So I went to all of the gift shops in the hotel to try and see if they sold them. No luck. And I'm going, God damn it, So one of the days I'm on my way to a workout, and I see there's a Starbucks in the complex, and I go, "Oh, Starbucks! They always write your name on the side of the cup with a marker." So I go in there, and I see there's a couple ahead of me, and they're from Kansas. So I strike up a conversation with them. They were there for quite a while, and So I talked to them. They'd visited Ireland before, and they were talking about how much they liked it and everything. And the daughter wanted to get some things in addition to, like, different sweets or an ice cream or something. And you've got like the desk where you order one place, and then you've got on the other side of the room is where they pay for it. So they pay two very different places. And while the husband is over there blocking the guy's view, I turn to the wife and say, "Hey, can you get me that marker over there?" She's like, "What? Just get it for me." And she gives it, and I stuff it in my pocket. So I'm like, okay, I've got one now at least. And actually, then when I go to order from him, I because I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm sure he's got plenty, so it's only just one, because they have to have them because they repeatedly use them. So I say to him, can I get like a cappuccino or whatever? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And he's like,
Where's the marker?
yeah, and inside I'm trying really hard not to laugh, and also my conscience is starting to kick in. I'm nearly gonna be like, oh, you're looking for this, and just say it's on the floor, but I didn't. So I had one at least then. That was mission accomplished on that front. Yeah, so that day when I got him to sign those things, and I think it was when I got the video for you as well. I'm about to leave, and he pulls me aside and says, "David, do you remember what you said to me the other day about when you heard me on Rogan and you were in Canada, and how you felt like you hadn't really achieved anything?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he says, he just gives me more advice on that. It's like you need to keep working it, and sometimes you're going to do things that you hate, but if you've got the end goal in mind, then it will all be worth it. So it was just another kind of a little pep talk that he didn't need to do, which he did. And any time I thought I was pushing my luck with maybe asking for getting two things signed, or maybe asking for the video, or when I'm taking the group photos, like the last day when we took the group photo, he said, "Hey, here, Paige, come over here." And I moved to let her sit down, and he pulled me back and he said, "Mate, or dude, you've flown all the way from Ireland, stay there." So, and he was always acknowledging of that, which was great.
Accommodating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we had the last night where we had the farewell cocktail parties, and like we got this little welcome pack on the first night, which was included like pens and bottle openers. But he was going to give out T-shirts, and he didn't, because he said he thought that the bottles were a lot cooler. So it's the 10 retreat. But I got him to sign mine.
Cool. Yeah.
And when one person saw that, they're like, "Oh my God, that's such a good idea. Hey, Dallas, would you sign mine? Would you sign mine?" And I'm like, "Do you want to keep the marker?" He's like, "Yeah." But I got a couple other things signed in there. And this is the menu from the first night that we had dinner.
It looks cool. Signed. Call me out some of the stuff on the menu. Get my mouth watering here now, because this place looked like paradise.
The food. I went to certain restaurants, because I tried nearly everyone, but there was only like maybe 2 restaurants where I liked the food. Chicken Caesar salad, beetroot salad, beef carpaccio, creamy green pea soup and Iberian ham, or mushroom cream soup with truffle essence, and then the main courses, penne pasta, spinach ravioli with pesto, salmon risotto, chicken breast stuffed, pistachio crested salmon, beef tenderloin for dessert, beer sponge cake, gratin of red fruits, apple tart tatin, I think is how you say it. So yeah.
And I presume it was all beautifully presented, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah. Now that particular one, it's all right. There was a nice Asian restaurant there that I really liked, which I went most times. Then I also got his DVD signed, the Positively Living one.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so they all just sat in the bottle quite well, so I could just slip them all out. There was a guy there, which I was really delighted for him. His name was Rob, and he does a lot of cartoon drawings, and he's trying to pursue a career in that, like in comic books and stuff. And he did a drawing of Booker T in Dallas, that he said at one point Dallas shared on his or was shared on the DDP Yoga Instagram page, which was a big deal for him at the time. So we showed Dallas, and I was like, "Oh, I remember this." So Dallas wanted a picture with him holding the thing up, and he also then showed Paige, and Paige wanted one of the copies, and she asked the guy to sign it. So that guy was really chuffed, and I was really happy for him that was probably the first autograph he signed of that. So yeah, you had that, and then yeah, also at the farewell party, they gave out some awards. Some of the things were like um, most amount of retreats that have been done, the longest, most amount of places traveled to the retreat. So there was a girl there from France, and she had traveled from different countries to be to the retreat every time. I received the Road Warrior Award because I traveled the longest distance for the trip.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just really helped that I got one of them, and then
Yeah.
I got the T-shirt as well. This is a new T-shirt
Awesome.
that's out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So yeah, that was really the trip overall, and then the rest of the time was just spent drinking and you know, we did karaoke one night, which I sang "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel, which was a challenge to sing sober. So you can imagine what it's like drunk.
Probably better.
Well, I nailed it. But yeah, that was a good night, and then just there was one of the nights where we had mariachi bands, and they were singing like "Twist and Shout," but with a Mexican theme attached to it. So yeah, overall, like no complaints about it. Like on the flight over, I'm where I can't sleep. My chair can barely go back, and I just can't get comfortable at all. And I'm like that for 10 hours. I'm just thinking, I hope this is worth it. I really do. You're paying all this money, traveling all this distance, and it's turned out to be shit. Like, oh, God. So yeah, just so worried that this trip would be worth it, but it exceeded even my highest of expectations for it. Um, the food, the people, the activities, just like everything. Yeah, absolutely no complaints about it. And I've kind of I've kind of got a job lined up now at some point as a tour guide, because everyone now is saying they're coming to Ireland. There are already people that had booked trips to Ireland, for next year. So that was already pre-planned to meet them, but now people are adding it to their bucket list in terms of places to see. We also got
would there be an opportunity to bring Dallas over to do a retreat over here?
I mean, I kind of like dropped little hints about that, a little bit, but I said, you can go somewhere west, because I see the places he's worked at, kind of mountain areas. I tried to encourage Paige more to do that than I did Dad, because Paige, her last name is McMahon, so yeah, I've been encouraging Paige, his girlfriend, more to do that because she's an Irish surname. I know Dallas has some Irish roots as well because he mentioned it on Rogan, but he didn't really know much. Talk to him about it because does he know where Irish roots go back? So yeah, I'd say yeah, there is a chance that they might at some point do some DDPY over here in the west coast somewhere, Connemara, Cliffs of Moher, but I think it's very far down the line because he was telling us of some projects that he's got doing at the moment. So the other thing that we got, which they apparently give out on every retreat, is this little poker chip. It's that says the retreat there, which was given out by one of the attendees of it. She's from Texas, and she say apparently that's custom in Texas to give poker chips out to your new friends and everything. So that's how they roll. But yeah, that's it really. Flew home through Lisbon, and then the fuckers lost my luggage. But thankfully it arrived this morning. So I knew that at some point along the way there would have been some issue somewhere. I thought maybe I filled in a wrong form and I'd have to stand aside and fill it in. But No, actually, everything ran quite smoothly except that.
And how was I suppose the experience traveling kind of in a COVID environment now? Was it different, or was it just straightforward, or?
Um, I mean, it's only different to the extent that they ask you for some additional forms. Not really to Mexico now, because in Mexico you don't even need a negative test. Um, on the way back, the flights were quite empty. If I'm honest, I was able to lie across a seat and do that. I wasn't able to do it on the way over. That was a bit nerve wracking to me, because there were people, you look over and their masks are pulled down like that, and while they're watching something, which they're only supposed to do when they're eating. So, you know, that kind of puts me on edge a bit. But overall, it was pretty much the same, just with
Mm.
masks on.
Yeah, I suppose being vaccinated and stuff like that, it gives you more of a comfort feeling, if you like.
Yeah.
The fact that you had that as well, like, so that must have been huge. In
Mm.
terms of Dallas, I mean, is he switched on all the time? Is he nearly kind of, is he in that Diamond Dallas Page kind of zone all the time, or does he kind of tone down eventually?
Yeah, I mean, he can get it. He gets into his own a lot of the time when he does his workout, because one of the things he did at a certain point was a thing called Diamond Says. So when he's doing a move, let's if it's the punches, he was like, "You only do it when I do it, so it'll be 1-1, 1-2, and then he'll pause, but someone's expecting, has already started to do the 1-3, so then he starts over again. So he's like, okay, 1-1, okay, let's start over again because someone's already done it. So, um, but then, when I spoke to him, we didn't really talk a whole lot about his wrestling career. He didn't really talk about specific matches or anything. There's a picture I sent you, I think, at one point where everyone's gathered around talking to him in the pool.
Hmm.
He's not really mentioning anything about wrestling. He's talking about individual wrestlers and how they're doing at the moment, and but yeah, he's more just Dallas Page now, which is his real name, and as
Hmm.
opposed to Diamond Dallas Page.
Hmm. And is I mean, obviously he takes the yoga business very serious, of course. Does
Yeah, because
does
he would kill you if you called it yoga.
Yeah,
You're not
does
supposed to call it yoga.
but does he realize the impact that he's having, say, on people's lives? I mean, the work he did with Jake and the work he did with Razor Ramon and stuff like that. Does he realize, and probably more people, and I know a number of people, especially in the wrestling business, they're all doing DDPY at this stage, so it's no surprise. Does he realize the impact that the, what would you say, the wave of what he started, what the impact it's having?
Yeah, and he's reminded of it constantly, because a lot of the people I spoke to there were, I've seen their before and after pictures, and like their bodies right now are currently their after pictures, and I've seen their before pictures, and they're crazy. And I met one guy who's was featured on the app. His name was Rich. So yeah, he has a constant reminder. He even gotten people up on stage like before workouts to tell them their success stories with it. So yeah, he's very much aware of it, and like he always uses the success stories. If you check his Instagram or even check his YouTube, he's got whole playlists of people who've changed their lives. The Arthur one, which is probably the poster child of DDPY. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, he's fully aware of it, and he's very proud of that, which he should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So overall, very positive experience.
Oh, more
Well
than very
worth
well
well
done.
worth the money.
Oh fuck yes! I mean, I actually, the more I talk about it, I'm glad that the price was, because I think it was undercharged for it.
Okay, just don't
Um,
tell him that.
yeah, yeah, don't see this, Dallas. Yeah, don't watch them. Do you? But the best thing I got was, of course, the Rocks tequila,
Nice.
Terramana tequila, which I'm never going to drink. But it was funny. I was having lunch with one of the guys on the trip the other day, and he said, "Oh, you're the one who got the Terramana tequila," and I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know that?" And he said, "What was it? Well, I saw the two bottles on the at the pier where we were working, and I was like, oh my god, are those for sale on the property?" And Joy says, no, I had to get them for David. And he was like, oh fuck it anyway, because he said they're great. So yeah.
So have you sampled any of the tequila yet?
No.
None.
No, and I don't know that I will.
Oh, you'd have to, but you'd have to keep it for a special occasion.
Yeah.
Maybe your stag party in the future or something like that, or wedding day or something like that sometime in the future, maybe.
The stag party will probably be taking place in Cancun.
That'll be all right. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So so what's the next step now? Is that it? That's it done and dusted, or will you be planning? And is this going to be a yearly thing now?
Well, I know it's not happening next year. I don't know that I'm supposed to say that, but I think there'll be one in 2023, but I don't know. But yeah, regardless of what happens, I've made so many great friends there that, if that isn't the case that we can do it, that there'll always be something that I can do with the individual people that I've met. So, we haven't decided on anything as yet, but there'll definitely be more stuff down the line.
So you've basically found yourself accommodation with people all over America if you decide to visit, basically, is it?
Exactly. A lot of people in Dallas as well.
Not too bad. A good location for us real soon, I'd say.
Yeah. And yeah, but unfortunately, if they all come at the same time, the people that I've met, if they've come here, I'm kind of screwed.
You'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
You'll have to figure it out. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thanks for jumping on and telling us about the trip.
Oh, thanks for having me.
The pictures looked an absolute blast. I mean, that smile you had on your face in every one of those pictures, you just looked like you were absolutely living the dream, and that's what these trips are all about. And no better man to share with than Diamond Dallas Page. I mean, that guy is just switched on 24/7. So absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you just done a workout where everyone's ass was kicked, and then I was like, that's good. Well, I told him it was my podcast because I thought that sounds better and it's easier to explain. Like, mind doing a promo for my podcast? Yeah, sure, come on. So
well, that's okay. That's not too bad. It is your episode. It's not my episode, so that's pretty good. Well, listen, a pleasure having you on. Thanks for coming on. I know you're absolutely shattered and you're about to start the shift at work. No doubt we'll catch up during the week in the shop at some stage.
Yeah.
As always, head over to YouTube, Dynamo Podcast Network, the 4 Podmen. This has been your Road Diary David Byrne trip to Cancun in Mexico for DDPY. The retreat, absolute blast. Pleasure having you on. Audio versions of the show on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, wherever you pick up your audio shows. If you want to drop a few lines there to David or a few comments, let him know what you think. If you want any information off him about DDPY, hit him up. He has all the info there. Obviously, if you want to hit us up, it's the 4 Podmen on Facebook. It's also at TPodmen on Twitter. We'll gladly put you in touch with David or see what we can do about hooking you up with some answers for some of this cool stuff. And we are going to be following up with a part 2 of David's Collector's Corner because he has accumulated some new stuff there that we want to go through. That'll be coming up in the next week or so. Until next time, David, absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Mal. Good to see you.